Well, I can tell you that Secretary Clinton has received the endorsement of the Seafarers Union, and I think that that's an indication of an appreciation of her understanding of the importance of the industry from frankly, from a foreign policy perspective in particular. I mean, she sat in the seat as our #1 diplomat, as our Secretary of State. But I think it also recognizes her acknowledgement of the importance of this industry as it relates to jobs, because unions are always making that point when they express themselves about their interests one way or another. So I know that she would be a good commander-in-chief, again from the national defense perspective, but also recognizing the importance of diplomacy. But then also I know that her top agenda is continuing the growth of our economy and ensuring that it's an economy, though, that serves everyone. And we're beginning to see signs of that, and we want to just continue to build on that. But I think we have to acknowledge that we were clearly in a hole when President Obama came into office and had to stabilize the banking industry, the financial industry, the housing industry, the automotive industry. And now we've had significant growth over a period of time, 15 million new private sector jobs. But we need to build on that. And I know that Secretary Clinton has the vision for doing that. Well, I think that maritime plays a central role. I mean, if we're going to have a strong economy, if we're going to have a secure nation, then protecting our waterways, ensuring that those waterways can be used appropriately for the shipment of goods and the movement of forces, that becomes critically important. And that's always been the case for the U.S. as a maritime nation. I know that during my tenure as Secretary, when I had the good fortune of not only having the Maritime Administration, but also the Coast Guard, a part of the department at the time, a considerable focus was given to the role of the maritime industry when we were considering issues about the health and well-being of our economy as well as our national security. Well, I think that it's important for maritime to ensure that it's a part of the Secretary's broader vision for transportation. And I know that that's the case now with Secretary Fox and his appreciation for the industry. And you've got Administrator Janichin, who has played a significant role over the course of his tenure. I was fortunate enough to serve with Admiral Herberger. And we worked very closely. I was then the Federal Highway Administrator before becoming Secretary, but we worked very closely looking at roadways into ports, rail lines in the ports. And I just think that as we go forward and continue to talk about the economy as being the nation's #1 concern, clearly in partnership with our national security, that this industry, transportation, but more specifically maritime, plays a central role.
What do you think that the maritime sector needs most from Washington?
Well, I think continued support of the Jones Act, continued commitment in supporting our shipbuilding industry. I know that we aren't where we were in that regard, but we have seen of late some significant, I think, focus and investment there. And then just a recognition of the importance of our ports, our port infrastructure, bringing that up to date, embracing the importance of technology in that regard. But then, frankly, looking at some of the cyber challenges that we face as well from a security vantage point. So I think it's just having an administration that's sensitive to that. And it can't be just the president, the commander-in-chief. It has to filter throughout the team that's built, where they all recognize the importance of the maritime industry. The Secretary of Commerce has to understand the importance. Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Transportation, Homeland Security. You just go down that list. They all have to recognize how important maritime is. You know, we ship goods totaling over $5.5 billion on a daily basis through our ports. 90% of all freight moved by containers. I mean, this is a significant industry, and it deserves a lot of time and attention and support. Well, I think that it's always important for those who serve an elective office to seek out opportunities to hear from the leaders of the various industries that they might regulate or support. And so the administrator being here at the TradeWinds event, not only this year, but he was here the last time I was here. I think also taking advantage of this transition period here during the, during this period of the campaign, where both campaigns have selected transition team leaders, reaching out to them, educating them about the importance of infrastructure and the maritime industry in particular, so that after the election, we're ready to move with the naming of individuals who might come into the administration, ready with the first budget to demonstrate an importance and understanding of infrastructure investment. I mean, Panama has finished its work. These mega ships are going to start to flow with all of the goods. We have to make sure that our infrastructure is strong enough, sustainable enough to deal with those kinds of vessels, the mega ships, and to deal with the kind of volume that's going to create.